Now on to Kosovo-Serbia. Following last weekend's meeting in Brussels between Kosovo's Prime Minister Albin Kurti and Serbian President Aleksandar Vučić, accusations have been flying from Pristina that the EU's High Envoy for the dialogue, Miroslav Lajcak, is biased in favour of Serbia. Kurti, as well as Parliamentary Speaker and the former head of Kosovo's intelligence services, have all levied various accusations against him, including collaboration with Serbia and being biased. The European Commission responded very swiftly to the accusations, calling them baseless and saying both Lajcak and the EU's chief diplomat Josep Borrell enjoy the full confidence of all member states. But criticism over Lajcak's work has also come from within European Parliament, from a number of politicians. One of those is Thomas Waits, an Austrian member of European Parliament. Thomas, welcome to Inside Albania, and thank you very much for making time for me.
I'm happy to join you for this interview.
You've been very vocal in your criticisms of Lajcak and his position in the dialogue process. In a nutshell, how do you rate his performance and his contribution to the Kosovo-Serbia dialogue?
Well, the position is designed to be an impartial mediator and negotiator. He should take both sides and the interests of both sides and the political realities of both sides into account and advocate for fair and doable solutions. And already during his nomination, some of us had doubts whether this was a good choice, as Mr. Lajcak was a foreign minister of Slovakia, which is one of the non-recognizing countries of Kosovo, and he was foreign minister exactly at that time. But still, I mean, also political persons can develop, and they might at a later stage try to fix things that they might have seen different in the past. But unfortunately, the more we see from Mr. Lajcak, the more I am convinced, and many of my colleagues are convinced, that he is impartial, not impartial, that he's defending more the Serbian interest than the Kosovo interest, and also, I mean, that he didn't bring results up to now. I mean, even beyond the question where he politically stands, his job is to bring the dialogue forward, to reduce tensions, to reduce violence, to bring progress to both populations. And in this, he has failed up to now. And sure, he can blame it on President Vučić or President Kurti, but Prime Minister Kurti. But at the end of the day, you know, if you are in such a position, he should also reflect how much he personally has contributed to the lack of progress.
Kosovo's Prime Minister Albin Kurti has accused him of bias and siding with Serbia and called for his removal. Do you think there's a chance of this happening? Should Kurti's request be taken seriously by Brussels? Because in my view, Kurti's loss of confidence should be enough to remove him. It's not just about whether someone is actually biased or not, but if a key party loses confidence, this is a problem.
I was publicly calling Mr. Lajcak to step down and also to remove him from this position. I think he's not the right person for this job, basically. Beyond that, we're now coming towards the end of the mandate of the European Parliament and also the Commission. So also High Representative Borrell will end his mandate soon. And I do not expect that there will be a change in the negotiator until the end of mandate. I'm pretty sure the Commission will uphold his position and him in this position for the remaining month. It would be rather difficult also for a new person to step into this process now just for a few months, because this is a conflict that has deep roots and in history, and it's not something. I mean, you can reach progress in a few months, but yeah, it's a difficult process. So I guess he will stay until the end of the mandate, but I would rather say we should not expect any help of Mr. Lajcak in easing the tensions and bringing solutions.
The European Commission, in a comment, has dismissed all of the criticism of Lajcak, stating that the EU member states, 27 of them, made repeatedly very clearly they fully support Lajcak and Borrell. While I think it's clear they did have support at the beginning of their mandate, do you think this is still the case? Do they really enjoy the support of all member states?
Well, the Commission is generally defending their people as long as they can, and trying to deflect any criticism as much as possible. And I don't want to link the performance of Mr. Lajcak all too much to the ones of Mr. Borrell, of High Representative Borrell. Borrell did a good job in many cases, and so I wouldn't expand my criticism one-on-one to High Representative Borrell, even though it would be him responsible to exchange Mr. Lajcak. Unfortunately, High Representative Borrell doesn't have a long history on political work and diplomacy on the Balkan region. The whole region was pretty new to him. So I understand in the first place why he was accepting Mr. Lajcak, or bringing Mr. Lajcak into this position. As you've said already, there is no trust from the Kosovo side into Mr. Lajcak as a negotiator. There's very limited trust from the parliament, and it's not just me, but it's a number of colleagues that have voiced criticism, maybe not as outspoken as I do, but if you listen to the different comments in exactly this committee session, you hear criticism across members from European Union states and different political fractions.
And what can be done to keep things calm until the end of the mandate? People often say the Balkans is like a tinderbox, and the situation between Serbia and Kosovo at the moment is very, very tense. What can we do to keep a lid on things?
Unfortunately, when we saw the last escalations, where there were all these protests and conflicts around the mayors trying to reach their offices. I mean, we all know how that situation came. We know it was basically provoked by an order from Belgrade not to join these elections, not to participate, which I think is something that needs to be really voiced to the public, that this was the actual root cause of this escalation. I mean, this being said, still, it was unfortunately not a very wise decision by Prime Minister Kurti to insist on doing what Kosovo has every right to, but knowing that international community will criticize him for that. It opened the possibilities for, let's say, interest holders that are not in favor of Kosovo to put the blame on the Kosovo government, and this went this kind of change of narrative here in the House happened very fast, surprisingly fast. So to me, it seems that there were many were quite happy about the opportunity to finally tell the world that the Kosovo government is responsible for these tensions. And I must say, also, I mean, the call now from the European Union side on the government, Kurti's government, to finally implement this association of Serb communities. I have full understanding for citizens that belong or want to belong to a certain group or minority group, that there's a certain longing for a certain degree of self-governance. I have full understanding for that. But seeing the example of Republika Srpska, seeing how even in Bosnia, in a country where the High Representative has a lot of powers in his hand, where NATO soldiers are stationed, even in that kind of country, a Serbian radical nationalist can drive this country to the brink of breaking apart. With secessionist politics, very much supported and backed by Vučić's government in Serbia, and that there is a clear reluctance to hand over full autonomy, or whatever the Serbian side would like to see. This reluctance I can very well understand, and it's a wise decision. So there's a thin line to draw between legitimate requests for self-governance and the try to split away the northern part of Kosovo and unite it towards a greater Serbia. And this is the political agenda of Vučić. It's the political agenda of Dodik, and it's unfortunately also the political agenda of the political representatives in the north of Kosovo, the ones that are highly influenced by Belgrade, even though if I talk to citizens, citizens are concerned about daily life issues. They want to have functional institutions, public services, schools, and so on, and they want to have a chance to live a peaceful life. And many of the Serbian citizens of North Kosovo are instrumentalized for these conflicts.